What's up, guys? I'm Ari,
And I'm Shaggy.
and you're watching the Shaggy and Ari Show. And this week, the topic is about
Are modern handphones or mobile phones taking over DSLRs?
yes, Shaggy. Have you seen the new iPhone 8?
I'm not very impressed by the new iPhones. I'm actually okay. Just to give you guys a background, I'm not an Android user. I've been an Apple user since the very first smartphone that I bought, and it's good. It gives you what you need, but over the years, I feel like they just want us to buy more phones and newer phones, and the things that they are giving us back for buying new phones, it's not much anymore.
Okay. Actually, for me, I'm not really that impressed on the iPhone 8, but the iPhone 10
Really?
is actually quite nice. Yeah.
I think the iPhone 10 betrays what Apple is all about. You know,
Oh, what is Apple about then?
Apple is about design with a purpose,
Mm-hmm.
clean design, and making things aesthetically pleasing without compromising. And what I see on the iPhone 10 is a lot of compromises.
Compromises because they need to start embarking on the wireless charging, therefore the glass backing, and I think the OLED display is actually quite immersive lah. Right.
Immersive.
Yeah, it is. Not as immersive as the Samsung lines, but definitely an improvement to what they have already established lah. Okay, anyway, going back to the focus of whether mobile
Cameras,
phones are
right?
taking over cameras. Okay, there are specs in the modern phones that are really revolutionizing photography and video for that matter. Like for example, I heard yesterday from a video that I watched on YouTube that the iPhone 10 is capable of taking 240 FPS on 1080p, and that's really something that even most DSLRs can't provide, you know. So that is just one of the things that the new iPhone can do. Apart from that, they are able to feature when you're taking a photo. There is this bokeh mode. I can't remember. It's a portrait mode, and you're already able to establish bokeh from your handphone with a very tiny sensor. And also for video, you're already capable of taking 4K video. So why would you need to go out and shoot using your either point and shoot all the way to the professional cameras when you already have a mobile phone, modern mobile phone that can do all that?
Well, I think when smartphones first came about with very good cameras, right? The first thing that they killed basically is the low-end point and shoots. What I realized is people had no purpose in buying point and shoots anymore. Actually, just before smartphones became a normal thing, right? Just before smartphones became a normal thing, there were a lot of people actually buying DSLRs to get very good quality photographs. But these people are like your normal, everyday people who used to buy point and shoots.
Yep.
And when when phones started getting better and better cameras, I realized there are less and less people buying DSLRs. What I see today, right, is that people who actually walk into camera shops and buy cameras is either they don't buy it out of a need to take photos anymore. They either buy it because they want to pursue photography or videography,
As
either
a professional
either as a
or
hobby or
student.
as a profession, or either they are a student. What our smartphones have done is to eliminate all the people who are just doing it as a necessity. Like back in the day, every family had to have a basic camera at home, the kind that you put film in it, and
Yeah.
like when you go out for family events, you put one roll in and off you go, on your holiday or family event. That necessity is gone. Um, but I don't know. So yeah, that is pretty much what's happening today. But I'm not so sure if this will take over DSLRs. In the sense that I'm not so sure if your professional photographer would just put aside his or her DSLR camera just to use a phone. I don't think that will happen anytime soon.
Yeah, but okay, you mentioned about the iPhone or the modern phones being more popular, and during that time, the applications on the mobile phone has exploded, or has become super popular. Like for example, Facebook or Instagram, and there has been a growing number of individuals that have that do not that doesn't know how to use a DSLR, but they need it for their businesses. There has been this middle ground of individuals doing businesses on Instagram and Facebook. So they are already using their iPhones or Samsung to do maybe, for example, product review or clothing review. So in this aspect, they are also professionals, and they need high quality images to show off whatever that they have, and they don't require a DSLR.
I think that's
That's
fine.
the thing.
I think that's fine. I don't know why, but
S-
somehow I feel that that's fine.
yeah.
Okay, of course, you also having your own mobile phone has eliminated the need to have certain types of photography to
Mm-hmm.
require a business or what, to hire someone to come in and do it for them. I mean, that's part of the consequence of uh, democratizing technology, making
Mm-hmm.
technology cheaper and more available to everyone. What happens is more people are empowered to do something with the technology that has been given to them. If you put it in the context, maybe did did us learning about making our blogs back in the day destroy the market
Mm-hmm.
for web designers in the long run? I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't think so.
it actually did, in a way that now it has evolved into
Yours,
companies doing a lot
Wix
of
and
templates.
Squarespace. Yeah,
Yes, correct. So you don't actually need the you don't actually need independent IT developers anymore,
but
when you can just go to
the
these
thing is, they
companies
still
and.
exist. So like what? Anyway, when we go back to just the device itself, I think we talk about the profession later. When we
Mm-hmm.
talk about the device itself, um, I'm gonna put it back to myself. I carry a camera with me all the time
Mm-hmm.
in my bag. When I have my bag, definitely I'll have my camera.
Mm-hmm.
But more often than not, uh, if I want to take photographs for my social media accounts, I'll end up using my phone anyway.
Yeah.
Even
and
though I
also
have
the
access, you know.
yeah. And also there's an emerging market of iPhone photography, for instance. It's a thing now. Yeah, it has been a thing for a few years already, and there's already competitions of even a mobile phone being a photographer and also using an iPhone as your equipment for that competition. So that's the thing.
I think what
Are we?
democratization of technology has done, right, is
Uh huh.
that what happens here is you have shifted the what you scrutinize from someone from just owning a device, from just owning a capable device to their cognitive, the artistry of it. It goes
Mm-hmm.
back to the artistry, like how do you create better images or more motivated images. There's another like because the technology is so accessible, everybody's going to do the same thing first as a baseline when they're starting out, right? A lot of people will be
Yep.
doing one type of photography for a while, and then after that, out of like a whole billions of people in this world, someone will start trying something different, and sometimes that something different resonates with people and makes people feel something exciting, and they want to try it too. So I think the good thing about this is it has improved how we think of photography. It has improved how we create photography.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's a good thing. So
Yeah.
there will always be DSLRs in my opinion, because you can also see on another perspective that having good cameras in your phone is like a gateway to buying a DSLR in the future.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of it in that perspective.
So like you learn and train on your camera phone for a while. Like just like what we said last week, right? You
Mm-hmm.
learn whatever you need to learn first, and then after that you reach a limitation, and that limitation can only be solved by owning a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, whichever you may want to choose, and you take the next step, which is to buy a. And at the same time, right, as the mobile phones, I mean, funny enough, iPhone is becoming more expensive because
Yeah.
they have a monopoly on the iOS, and that helps them do this kind of things that I don't like. But if you look on the Android side of things, right, the better phones are getting cheaper also. So likewise,
Yep.
DSLRs, the good compatible a DSLR that is good enough is also getting cheaper and cheaper. Like I realized Canon has just released the EOS 100. Let me see the price of the EOS 100. EOS 100. 100D, sorry. The 100D, let's check on maybe Canon Singapore. 100D, 100D. Okay, you can buy it with the kit lens, right? The 100D
Mm-hmm.
for less than $700. And you already
Yep.
have a APS-C sensor, and um you can already take the EF lenses, which are good anyway. So the starting point has become lower. Like I think when we first started, how much was your first camera?
My first camera cost about 1,002.
1,002,
The
right? Same,
D5100.
same.
Yep.
My first mirrorless camera cost me around 1,002 as well. So like from that 1,002, it has gone down to this $700
Yep.
level for the
Price point.
entry. So it's just going to get cheaper. Likewise for mobile phones, it's just going to get cheaper as the technology grows and develops. I forgot what is this law called. I think it's Moore's law or something. Uh,
Mm.
just that Apple is making me
Here's a
frustrated. I'm just gonna say that Apple, I might buy a Xiaomi phone when my iPhone 6s goes kaput. You know, good riddance. Anyway, back to our topic. Yeah.
There is also another phone company, a video company. I'm not really um, acquainted by the Red phones or Red company. Is it
Okay.
um
So it's called Red.
Red? Just Red.
Just Red. So
Oh,
Red is
okay.
a cinema. They create cinema cameras,
Mm-hmm.
and for some
And
reason they
they are,
decided to make a phone.
yeah. That's the thing, and it's coming out 2018. It costs about 1,002.
US.
Yes, US, and it's gonna have 3D content, interactive games, blah blah blah. But I'm very sure that they will kick in a lot of high quality lenses. Is it modular? I am not really
I don't
sure.
think so. I think it's a one device thing. The name of
Yeah,
the
but
phone is the Hydrogen One.
Hydrogen One.
Yeah.
Okay, so the thing is, everybody's going to the mobile side. The companies are going mobile side. How about the DSLRs integrating whatever that the mobile phones already have into their equipment?
I think we already have that. So what, as far as the DSLR can do, right? What we see now is that you can connect your DSLR to your mobile phone using Wi-Fi
Mm-hmm.
or Bluetooth, and you can transfer all your images into your iPhone or your Android phone, and then you can do your post processing on your phone.
Yeah, but the post processing on the phone, why not have like, for example, now we have Facebook Live, and there is an emerging trend in for companies who engage us inquiring about Facebook Live, and it's a chore to really integrate Facebook Live and professional cameras together, and not many people can do it now.
I think
So why
the
not
point
have?
is having not many people to be able to do it. The thing is, if everybody can do it, then there's no point hiring someone. You know what I mean?
Not really. It is the same thing as um how normal consumers can take professional looking photos, and there's still photographer in the market. That's actually the second part of the talk, the podcast that we have later. But then again, at least having an Adobe Lightroom inside your DSLR, wouldn't it be something, or a quick fix to the display? You can really edit it without much hassle, and also some internet capabilities. At least you're able to do your, because everybody go, my point is, again, everybody's going to the mobile side, and the DSLR professional side, they are, using the word ego is a bit too strong. They are hesitant to make any changes to the user interface or user experience. They have been just ignoring everybody's suggestion. Even when I see YouTube online, a lot of the photographers are talking about, at least the phones are having Lightroom inside. Why not the DSLRs? Or why not the
Um, have you heard of the Galaxy camera? Why don't you do a quick Google search? Are you away from your computer? Galaxy camera. Just Galaxy camera. Yeah, not just camera. Yeah. There's Android inside the camera. I think the reason why they don't feel like implementing these features in a DSLR is that if you realize, right, a lot of the features that you mentioned, like the helping out or like suggestions or like a guide features, they only present in entry level DSLRs. That's where it's needed. You don't expect someone with a D8. Oh my god, someone is drilling in my neighborhood. Anyway, this is my new house and I'm not ready yet. Can you hear the drilling at the back? Oh god. No. I want to continue. Anyway, so like you don't expect someone who buys a D850 to need guides, to need suggestions, or like, oh, because a DSLR user who knows his stuff or her stuff, they will be at a level whereby all they need to know is to look at the exposure meter. For me, I look at my histogram and then I'm good. Having the rule of thirds guideline, I think, is already enough on my screen to look at to help me do my composition. So if you're talking about this kind of like hand holding, it's like it's like kids riding bicycles. They have the guide at the side. When you have training wheels. When you are an Olympic cyclist, do you still need training wheels? No. There are certain bicycle that you need at that point of time already. I think likewise for DSLRs, whatever features that you mentioned are good, but they are applicable to the entry level or people who are learning or all that. And the funny thing is, you don't really need a DSLR to do that anymore. You can actually learn how to do manual settings on your phone, because I think iOS or Android, they have these apps that simulate the DSLR screen on your camera, such that if you want to learn photography per se, like learning the technical parts of photography, you can actually start with your phone, and then when you are done with your phone and you saved enough money to go on a, like in the US, you go on a Craigslist, or in Singapore, you go on a Club Snap, or you go on a Carousel to go and look for a second-hand DSLR entry level for you to buy and try to learn. That's the point. So like, in terms of killing DSLRs, I don't think smartphones will kill DSLRs. I think it will become more of a gateway rather than a destroyer. Yes, of course you can do all this good stuff now, like image stabilization, or you can simulate bokeh. But then again, like back to the bokeh aspect, it's like you're just simulating it. It's not real. Like when you really look, when you pixel peep, which is what most photographers online like to do, you can see that the bokeh is not very accurate. And if it until you drop.
Okay, sorry.
We missed out on some chunk of our story.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry. I forgot.
Okay, so I was saying like having modern smartphones with very good camera can actually serve as a gateway into DSLRs. Like you don't need the whole society to own DSLRs. You only need the kind of people who are really love photography and like have this very strong desire to do it, to go for it. So maybe you have a perspective photographer one day, and they have a smartphone and they are learning how to take very good pictures on their smartphone. That becomes a gateway to the next level, which is having a DSLR, which is a good thing overall because you don't get people who buy DSLRs and then like in a month or two get tired of it and then sell it away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't get those kind of people. You get the people who are really into it, who go into that, and then across the board, DSLRs will get even more specialized. Just like my bicycle analogy earlier, the people who are pro, because they're already pro, and then there's a big market for professional users. The bodies that come out of the respective companies that we all love will get even better and better. That's my very optimistic view of this situation of phones having better than DSLRs, for example.
But yeah, I do agree with what you mentioned just now. But there must be an innovation, because everything is going to the mobile side. So where is the innovation for the DSLR professional side? So that's
The question I have for you,
Yeah.
right, actually is this: would innovation is fine, but if there were to be innovations in the DSLR field, not that there weren't, there are, would people even buy them?
It
know what
no,
I mean?
for me it should be integrated already inside the DSLRs right now.
Yeah, but the thing is adding features is gonna cost several things aside from money, which everybody knows. It's gonna cost us space in our devices, and it's gonna change the way, the orientation of the device and the comfort of what we already have.
Yeah.
No, I wish I could take my GH5 now and like open it up and talk about all the fancy features. For example, for you,
Yeah.
right? You have, I think Nikon has like photo retouching features in the camera.
Yeah.
Do you use it?
But
even?
it's not.
It's innovation.
But it's not.
It's innovation.
It's not Lightroom where you are able to sync whatever edits that you have to your computer.
But would you want to have Android in your Nikon
No, for me,
so that you can have Lightroom?
it's Lightroom. Maybe the if it's not editing the photos, it's compiling it all into Lightroom and syncing it into the cloud. And already inside my phone when it comes without using wires, without using wireless, basically, and it's integrated.
You can't do that right now. There's no Wi-Fi on your D7200.
There is a connection to my phone, but the application for the D7200, I think the D7500 has a better software. I have not tried it before, but currently the one that I'm having has a lot of problems with it lah. So to choose it, to pick it one by one, is a hassle, and you are unable to transfer video. So all this should have been solved in 2017. Especially now we are using 4K, and it should be applicable to 1080p, but it's not. You see? So that's the thing that I'm trying to highlight. It's not really placing a full load Lightroom inside your DSLR, because I'm not going to use it. The buttons won't, the camera simply would be too heavy for me to edit, and I'll look stupid on it. So it's better to be like an integrator, a better integrator with professional editing softwares to create some sort of an innovation. Because currently it's
Wow. I think what you're suggesting is very mind blowing. Like, I think what I've been doing throughout this conversation is I've been quite conservative, like in my thinking. What you're saying is actually, why don't we have a system whereby is is faster, it's more instantaneous, it's less troublesome, right?
Is your
Right.
Panasonic able to transfer video?
I think on Android it can,
Oh my god.
Like I went on the group, on the GH5 users group, and somebody was talking about the ability to transfer video, and I said no, you can't because I'm using iOS. I think someone else interjected and said they could. But the thing is, right? To be honest, the I think one of the reasons why it's not being implemented, these features, right, is because I don't need them. Like a videographer like myself who shoots videos for like commercials and all that, we don't really need. You don't really need to transfer video on our phone and then push it out on Facebook Live, because the audience on Facebook Live, or excuse me, I don't mean Facebook Live, I mean like Instagram stories, for example. The audience there doesn't expect, uh, professional quality.
That's the thing. Okay,
video.
for example, Instagram used to be just sharing whatever you can share on Instagram, and it evolved. The photographers already recognize that it's a good platform to showcase their work. So what they do, they make their Insta feed really professional, and there's a theme to it, and it's only gonna evolve for Instagram Live or evolve for Facebook Live. It's not gonna be like just a normal sharing platform. There will be a market coming out where the the quality of the images or the moving images would be substantial lah. There will be a depth to it. There will be slow-mo. There will be people, because Instagram is now marketing towards, you know how you can swipe up for Instagram stories. You can link it
Yeah.
to your professional business or whatever that you want to highlight on other social media platforms. So that is already a thing. So like I'm relating back to the first part of this podcast where I highlighted that during the emerging mobile phones becoming much more smarter, there is a market segment that uses the phone for their businesses and for their clothing line or whatever. So having that feature inside their businesses, or the feature that I'm talking about is DSLR quality photos, will definitely up their game in to sell whatever products that they want online. So that's the thing. If everything goes to mobile phones, then what's gonna happen to that market? How is the market gonna go to the next level? Yeah, so that's the thing that I'm trying to highlight. The ease of using DSLRs, because it is definitely needed. It is gonna be of better quality, but this market segment, in order to step up their game, they will be okay. Just imagine this kind of scenario. I tried selling stuff online on Instagram before, and usually when I go out, I will take my time to use my DSLR and try my best to get the best angles to showcase my products. Or even when I'm at home, when I'm doing flat lays or whatever, I'm using my DSLR to do it. So if it was easier for those entrepreneurs to do it, on your DSLR, wouldn't it be better? And also, okay, I forgot to mention another thing. Recently, there was an opening of a new community center at my district. So I saw my cousin, my long lost not long lost cousin lah. I've long been not meeting him. He was working for a video company featuring people doing performances on stage, and he was holding on to a mobile phone. He's already shooting professionally on an iPhone, on a tripod. Is like, it goes back to the question of the first part of the podcast. Is the modern handphone taking over DSLRs? Because he is already being paid to shoot on an iPhone on a tripod for a show that comes out on national television. Mind blown, you know.
Can I clarify
Yeah.
something? Who is he working for?
I don't know lah. This kind of thing.
It can be like he's just recording for their group performers to watch after. I don't think, like, this is my skepticism kicking in. Like, I don't think that he's shooting for the TV, you know.
He's not the first
Um,
shooter. He's definitely the second shooter. The first shooter is still using a Sony. Yeah, I could see from far.
have you confirmed that they are actually working together?
Yeah. I
Okay.
briefly asked.
There's another element. There's another angle to
Mhm.
this, which is, I think we can segue to the next topic,
Mhm.
which is, the job aspect of it, or as a worker, but the person behind the camera. So like, if you, because I don't know which episode was it. Like a few episodes ago, we were talking about like, okay, how do you feel if you shoot with a small camera and how clients view you? I think this is where it's relevant. Like,
Uh-huh.
if I come in on shoot with an iPhone, if I see someone on shoot with an iPhone, right?
Yep.
One of two things come to my head. Either they are not being paid very well, or it's a free thing that someone is just setting up, like someone internal from the company is just setting up to do. That's what I think about walking around with an iPhone. So like, okay, I think we'll go back to the limitations of using a phone. Okay, so previously I had a DJI Osmo Mobile because I used to have a very rosy picture of like using the phone to take videos, for example. But as I was using it, I realized that there are limitations of using a phone for my videography.
Yeah, there is definitely that limitation.
No, like the limitation is not technical. The limitation is like, a phone is a device that receives so much information at one time that it's very hard for you to focus on doing things. It's like a multi-tool. Multi-tools are good. People love them. People buy multi-tools, but in, like you say, 10, you have 10 tools in that multi-tool, right? You won't be able to do, like, you choose one tool. You can, that one tool is competent, but you won't be able to do something to the level of, like, a professional tool. Excuse me. Whether DSLRs will take over phones, to be honest, whether phones will be taking over DSLR, to be honest, I think it might happen somehow. Like, part of me believes that it might happen, and part of me is like, I think professional cameras, be it video cameras or DSLRs, will still survive.
Which leads us to the next topic actually.
as a job.
So having because just now we discussed there are like mobile phones being more professional, having more professional capabilities, and how DSLRs can still be professional, and there is a market to it. But if everyone can use those equipments, how about photography and videography as a profession? Is it really a sunset profession?
I took an Uber once,
Yep.
and my Uber driver was this lady, and she was telling me that she used to be a photographer. Then I said like, why do you stop taking photographs? Then she told me it's a sunset industry. That took me aback for a while. When an actual person comes to me and tells me that something is gonna be gone very soon, and that person is not like some internet commenter. Like, it's very different when you read about it online and when someone in real life tells you something. And the non-verbal communication that I see, because we were physically in the same space, I realized that there's a tinge of like, she's very sure that, it's time to move on, and she has moved on by driving Uber. Honestly, right? If you want to talk about photography being a sunset profession, the level of photography that you need to tell people that you're professional has now become higher.
Yep, definitely.
Last time you could have just been a guy with a camera or a girl with a camera and it's fine. You could just take photos that are weird, or like just take photos that are not too dark or not too bright or somewhat in focus, and you can already go out and make money. But these days the standard has increased so high that it's not just that. Not only that, you're not just a photographer, you must be an artist. You have to be able to justify what you're doing with your images. We must be able to tell the story behind your images. It has all changed because the accessibility to the equipment has changed. And as a result, if you want to start out as a photographer, the entry level is really, really hard.
Because everyone can basically pick up a mobile phone or a DSLR and shoot and call themselves photographer.
Yeah. So you really have to prove to people why you're worth. And also, not everybody needs an artist. You know what I mean? Some people just need to get someone to help them archive their events. But it's good. I feel that it's good. You know why? I had
Why?
I had a newspaper reporter and a photographer come down for a show that I was doing. And this newspaper photographer, she was carrying a very expensive Canon, I think a Canon 1 or something. Like the most high end. And the photos that came out printed in the newspaper, right, was just people standing in the line. It was so shit. Like, someone who takes this kind of photo shouldn't be given this kind of camera. So I feel that with this kind of democratization of technology and everybody being able to do it, right, because everybody is going to be more competitive, you don't get any more of this kind of crappy photography going around. It has to be good. If it's not good, nobody's going to hire you because you're just a waste of everybody's time or money. That's the thing lah. And
There is another perspective to it,
which is it's not
like there's two sides to it in my opinion. One is like what you said, It's more of the brains of the person behind the camera and proving to others that they are very capable of doing the thing. If there is another perspective where the packages are much more attractive. So, for instance, wedding, everybody is already starting to do very cliche stuff. There's no one doing a different photo booth style, and even the couple themselves are doing their own photo booths, are already printing their own photos. So how can the photographer create a better package for the customers, their clients? That is also
I don't
another
know about
perspective
photography right
to
now,
add.
what's the trend, but what I see for wedding videography, the trend now is to do slow-mo, slow-mo dolly shots. I think it's
Yeah.
slow-mo powered dolly shots of the bride or the bride and groom together. You see, the thing is, right, this is the good thing of getting everybody to be able to use technology, is that the people who want to keep their jobs, they have to crack their brain and find out like what can I do now that can put me above the rest. They're always challenging themselves to go further. So this whole dolly slow mo is like you combine a few things that not a lot of people can do. Like if you do slow mo on your phone, right?
Yeah.
There will be flicker because of the lights.
Yeah, it depends on. Yeah,
Most likely
correct.
there will be flicker. Even if you do it in bright sunlight, no. Only when you do it indoor, there will be flicker like mad, and you can't control it the way you can control it in a professional camera. Okay,
Yep.
so that's one. You can do a slow mo, and then you do that dolly pull. Nobody can freaking do that dolly pull if you don't have a dolly, and a dolly is a professional device, or it can be a dolly or a slider, or even if the person operating the gimbal is really steady, it can be even a gimbal actually. It's like a super gimbal that has like a million axis of stabilization, then they can get that kind of shot. So the professional, a true professional, will be very conscious about what the state of people are doing right now, and then they are continually pushing themselves. That's a true professional. Maybe the person
That's
in
the
the
thing.
Uber who was
The
telling me about the sunset part is knowing that
she's unable
compete.
to innovate herself. Is it?
Maybe they were unable to come up with something new, or like lost
Keep up.
touch with like the new level of photography. Actually, you are giving me a very good thing to think about, because naturally, right, all of us do have a tendency to stay in our comfort zones and not want to try something new, because we're like, oh, this is the only way, or this is the best way. Like you think that you can create something that is so foolproof that nobody can touch it, and then you feel safe. But in the reality of this new world now, you always have the need to grow and expand yourself. If not, it's just a matter of time before someone comes in and creates some new product and destroys whatever you have built. So now a true professional must always be able to update themselves and keep
Have
track,
that
have a
foresight.
foresight, keep up with trends, look out for what people would find innovative, interesting, exciting. Keep your audience or your clients excited.
Actually, there is a sad part to how the customers, because of the technology is getting much more easier for the normal guy to just to have a better quality image or video. Then the impression that when you approach to do your own service for them, they think that it can be a one man show. It's actually very easy to do. That's the misconception. So it's not really a one man show. Like for video, I'm very sure if you want to get good quality audio, you have to get a guy controlling the audio using a boomstick or managing it, placing the lapel properly, that kind of stuff. You have to have a director And you have to have a video, the person behind the camera controlling the lens and the settings. Actually, a three man operation should be a minimal.
That's the leanest thing you can get. Yeah, that is like
Yeah.
anything less than that right now is a compromise. Not because of technological limitations. Actually, it's because of human limitations. Because humans, actually, technology is moving so fast, right? That we are only limited by what the human body can do right now. So you only can focus on one thing at a time, and because of that, that's why in a typical film production, there's so many roles, because everybody should be able to just do within a specific realm, and in that realm, there are many things that they are responsible for. That's what
Mm-hmm.
keeps the profession relevant. And
Some it's the same thing that goes for photography as well. Most clients, they think that just by holding a camera and shooting, it's enough. When actually you need a person holding a reflector or a flash from a different angle, or positioning the flash maybe probably behind the client, the couple, or the model, to get different type of mood, or yeah, to showcase different type of mood lah, basically. Or
no, you're
yeah.
correct. So what I realized, right, is that while the technology is getting cheaper and better, the cost of manpower will only increase, because like for example, in a country like Singapore where we live right now, cost of living is
Uh-huh.
always going up and up and up. That means the demands of manpower will always want to be paid better. If not, they will go to someone else who can pay them better. So in that sense, so I see this for my own work as well. I realize that there's more value in having a team work together to do photography or videography. If you do a one-man show, number one, it's very difficult for someone to see the value in what you're doing, which is the
Mm-hmm.
most important thing, value. Can you hear that drill? Oh
Yeah,
man, I
it's very
hate it.
loud.
Let's wait for a while. Write it out, write it out. Okay, it's gone. So like, what I there are clients who actually ask me, it's very
Mm-hmm.
interesting. They actually ask me whether I'm doing my work alone or whether I have a team.
Huh.
Yes, they consciously ask. So it's a
Why?
basis.
Why is that?
It's a basis of it's a basis of it's like part of their decision making process, knowing whether I'm bringing a team or I'm doing alone, because they know that more manpower is gonna cost more, and they see the value in having manpower or specialists
Not
working
really for
together.
photography.
Photography, not really. I think if you need, I need to help you position your photography, man. If you get clients,
No,
you
because
gotta
the
pass them to me to manage them, because I think as a
that
professional, sorry, as a professional, right,
yeah.
you have the responsibility to communicate um your value, your responsibility to tell your
Mm-hmm.
client why what they are paying for. If the client doesn't value what you're paying for, I think it's time for you to get another client or be a bit patient. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sorry. Please go to your point that
Yeah.
you're trying to make.
No, I was just trying to give some examples of uh, clients just expecting me to be a one man show, doing everything alone, and that's not enough. They will get their cousin or their friend to be a second shooter for free. Yeah, so that's some of
Yeah.
the clients that I've
That means they
experienced
do
before.
see the value of having a team. It's just that they are trying on their
They're
end.
just
They
crunch.
are just trying on their end to
Yeah.
cut the costs, and I need. I know that I cannot rely on one person, so I'm gonna do it myself and find someone else to get the second angle. So there is a value.
so
It's just whether
it,
the client, like that's another level, which is like what kind of clients do you want? What kind of clients do you want to keep? Not everybody. You don't have good clients all the time. Some clients are not really good. Some clients are fantastic. So some clients are fantastic and don't pay you that much. Some clients are shitty and pay you a lot. So it's like, I think for this scenario particularly, it's about value, communicating a value at the same time. Um, yeah, choosing your clients.
Yeah, so with that, we can actually conclude that even though mobile phones are getting much more modern and with higher capabilities, a lot of normal people the consumers can take better images. There is a market for professional photographers or videographers to be in the industry. It is still needed in this time and age lah.
Can I emphasize
Yep.
why it's needed? So one of the things
Yeah,
that
go
I
ahead.
realized having embarked on this business, right, is that, or rather working actually as a videographer, is I realized that people are not paying you because you know how to take photos actually as a professional. People are not just
Yep.
paying you just because you know how to take photos. People are paying you because they know that they can rely on you. You are reliable. So first is you have to be a reliable person. You have to be trustworthy. You have to be able to deliver what they want within the stipulated time that they have given you. So your reaction time, your behavior, whether they feel happy talking to you, working with you, whether you're on time coming to shoot, whether you deliver the kind of shots that they need, shots that are important. That's what I realized what people are actually paying for. People are paying professionals for professionalism more than the technical ability that they have, because slowly we are eroding away this need for technical skills because of technology, right? So
Yep.
what the demand for better service is there. The demand for on top of that, better service, competitive prices. You can't expect to go in and make a big buck doing very little. If you want to make that kind of money,
Yep.
you must be able to give back that value to the client. For example, if you're doing a corporate work, that's why influencers are doing so well now. Because influencers, as much as a lot of people don't like them, the effect of an influencer talking about your product, talking about your brand, is much more valuable than hiring a production company to make a video of your product.
Yeah,
Just the
that's true.
influencer
Yep.
talking about, let's say, a new drink or whatever, everybody's gonna go down and buy it. If you get a videographer to come in and create a very fantastic video, it can be the most beautiful video in the world. But if it doesn't make people feel excited, it doesn't mean anything. So I think with the
Yep.
competition right now, people like me, I start to think about like, okay, so this is the state now. It's not enough for me to just create mediocre videos and get people to be excited. I need to create something that can really make people excited and like go crazy. How? Actually, the answer of how and why is not very easy to answer, because if you talk about photos and how do you rate whether a photo is good? Right now, like the shittiest stock photos, someone can just pick it up from the stock photo website and turn it into a meme, and then the whole world knows about your
Yeah.
photography, but your photo is not even that good in the first place, and then the whole world knows about it. So like the value of our work now is very different from what we perceive it to be. The artistry, the craft is there, but the value of it is another question. You know, so
Yep.
like you said, like as a wedding, like some of the wedding photographers, how they keep their edge is how they package the product, how they make it beautiful, how they make it a whole experience. It's a service side of it already. to keep people buying. Hey, how much time do you have? Oh, you got until 12, right?
Not really lah. I have to go out in quite soon. I have to reach
Wow, this
there
is
by
not gonna
12.
end. You have to reach there. Okay, that means you must leave very soon. Anyway, so like whether you're gonna be a sunset industry, I think any job is valuable
Mm-hmm.
if you know how to package it in a way that nobody else can do it.
That's the thing.
So what has happened now is that you can't just simply take a photo and take a video and then tell people to pay you
Yep.
anymore. Which is good because as a whole, like you said, Instagram from people just taking photos of things around them, it evolved very fast into like very aesthetic, very beautiful, very well thought out
Yep.
catalogs actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So likewise for our industry, it will just get better and better. But then the prices are gonna go lower, just like our electronic devices, except for iPhone. iPhone,
Annoying.
you have to rethink what you're doing.
Please.
Apple, you have destroyed my love for your MacBook Pros.
Yep.
Now you have destroyed my love for iPhones. That is the problem. You see, that's the problem with dominating the market. You get complacent and you start churning out crap. Likewise for photography and videography, the good thing about this competitiveness that we have, or like the feeling of uneasiness, or the feeling of, oh, I need to always be on top of my game, is that you will always strive to something. If only people who, if only a select group of people can have DSLRs or take videos, then the kind of work that we create, to be honest, won't be aesthetically pleasing. It will be good. Yeah, it will be a bunch of people having a lot of money and very happy, but the craft and the artistry behind it.
Yeah, actually to add on to that, during the early 2000s, the thing that I observed, I was a junior post editor. Like I was the assistant for a photographer lah. So
Oh, you
how I was the guy doing the post processing, and he was really stuck in the 90s or even the 80s of how he took the photos. It's like
Yeah.
already there already, and he was so egoistic and like so adamant that this is how you take photography and this is gonna work, and I don't care how you do it, make the post processing nice, and just give it to the customer. Then I had so much limitations on how to edit the photos because the ISO, it was at night, a photo shoot at night. He didn't place the light properly. Everything was really snapshot. But because he has been doing it for years and people rely on him, people recommend him, there's no challenge. He thinks that those kind of works are what photographers do, when actually it's not.
Yeah, so for me also recently, right, this is the part where not a lot of people want to discuss, is that doing your own business and working as a creative is it will get to this competitive level where sorry, it will get to this competitive level where you have to take jobs away from people, and the kind of people who lose their jobs are the kind of people who don't do what is relevant anymore.
Correct.
For example, recently I had a job where they showed me the previous year's video, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a person simply shooting what's happening.
Yep.
Simply just going around and shooting what's happening. He works really hard. I can tell from the video that that videographer really works really hard. He works non-stop. But because the format of how he's doing it is like dated, and it's not, I don't think it's about when it was produced, it's about during that time this was acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because everybody is doing it, everybody's competing, you have a marketplace of ideas called the internet, and like when you go on YouTube, people are doing things in a much more beautiful way, much better way for less, and you start to think like, okay, the audience also evolves, and the audience also begins to refine what they want to consume as our audience. From there, they are more demanding as well. So after a while, that videographer lost his job, and I didn't even hunt for that job. The job came to me because I'm available, and the client told me, don't do it like this. This is very old. We don't want this anymore.
Yeah.
Of course, the client won't be able to articulate it like, oh, this is not relevant because X, Y, Z and all that. But, like inside here, the heart, they know that this doesn't work anymore, and they are looking for something better.
Yep.
Better, not in a sense absolutely better. Better in the sense of more relevant today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So in order for this industry, this photography industry and video, to keep on going, we have to keep on innovating ourselves and keep modernizing the way we do things because of the
Not
change.
just for photography, not just photography and videography. I realized that this mentality of always needing to be relevant and trying to keep up is something that is across the board. Whatever job that you have also is like, maybe some of the viewers here are hobbies. The idea that you need to continue updating yourself and not feel like you can just lepak or rest and not improve, right? You cannot do that anymore. You simply cannot do that anymore. It simply cannot be done. So yeah, all of us, if you wanna keep your job, whatever job it is, photography, videography, or any other job out there, especially in the private sector, you need to always make yourself relevant to the market, the industry, and what everybody else is doing. If not, bye. I'm so sorry.
But the big question is how. Yeah.
How?
Yeah. But if how.
But I think you practice that in a very sophisticated way that I can't. Which is
What?
you always you are very open to new technology, which I admit I'm not very. You, for example, you even dabble and try it out, like Insta Story and all that. You actually
I do.
go out of your way. You go out of your way to learn what other people are doing, which I can't, because, like, I think the human tendency is to always think that you have got it, which is my mistake. So like there's a ego thing involved that you have to overcome before you be a bit more open-minded and look around and be more accepting of different types of new stuff. So for you, what have you done to make it better?
For the Instagram story thing, for that Instagram app, there are two things that I've explored. Or when you're mentioning about innovating yourselves, right? During the time when I was selling items online, it was only a selected few Instagrammers were doing the catalog thing that you mentioned just now. So I took it a step further and made everything relevant to each individual post. And right now, when I'm starting to try and use my DSLR vertically and editing it vertically, I learned it from Peter McKinnon, and a lot of people are already starting to try it out, and there is a value to looking at trends and trying it out before it actually becomes mainstream.
That's something that I cannot.
Uh,
I cannot do. Yeah. That's something that's special about you. Which is you. It's not about daring to try. You're open to trying. You are excited to try new things.
yeah.
That's your way of keeping yourself relevant. I feel.
Yeah. Okay, I really have to go. I have an appointment.
That's very sad. Should we do a part 2 of this? I don't know, but I think the next we can think about how we can overcome these things, how to keep relevant. So
Yeah. So far,
this was a very exciting and heated and passionate episode.
we exceeded 50 minutes. It's already an hour
Yep. Plus 10 minutes, 1 hour 10 minutes. Okay.
So the next podcast will be something along the line of how do you keep yourself relevant?
Ooh, I need to learn this. I think I'll be quiet for this episode, the upcoming one.
Oh goodness. All right.
Pressure. Maybe we can go and research. Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you so much for watching. This has been the Shaggy and Ari show.
And we'll see you next week. See ya.